and welcome to the Beer Ladies podcast. I'm your friendly neighborhood bean, together with Carolyn and Katie. We're on the Twitters at Beer Ladies Pod and all the Insta face tubes at Beer Ladies Podcast, and we have a website. So you can come on over and see what the story is. And we're making it better. So it'll be even better. Right. So this one, we're just three gals sitting around, making each other hungry and maybe occasionally swearing. This one is for the lulz. No doom scrolling, no reminders of inequities and evils, just pure tasting theory and notes. And we're going to be talking about like umami and sweet and bitter and all the tastes and maybe how to pair them. So will I start with what you drinking? What you drinking, girls?
I'm drinking a watermelon wheat from Galway. Galveston Bay. Sorry. I am drinking a wheat from Galveston Bay.
I was thinking you can get Galway Bay stuff in Texas.
No.
In your suitcase.
In my suitcase, but sorry guys, Galveston Bay. That is on the coast of Texas, and it's about an hour south of Houston, and it's in the Gulf of Mexico, and the beach is not pretty, but if you want a beach, it's there.
That's awesome. That's coast to coast.
And I'd say
Galveston,
a nice
color.
Yeah.
And it's pretty good. Yeah. And it tastes like watermelon. This is my first taste. But it's not too overpowering because I feel like some watermelon things are hit or miss, and this one's pretty good, and it's a wheat beer. So no complaints.
Shouts out to Galveston, nice. The other bay.
And I reckon that Galveston Bay is going to be a tad warmer than Galway Bay, you know?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
What have you got, Katie?
So I have a Loophead Pilsner.
That's a sweet beer.
It's nice. And I want to draw your attention to the lighthouse on the can, because I actually grew up about a mile away from that very lighthouse.
No way.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So it was my birthday during the week. And I am now the answer to life, all the questions on the universe and everything. I won't tell you what age I am, but you can figure it out. And I got packages. I got 2 different packages of Loophead beer from my sisters. I have sisters in Loophead, and then I have other siblings in Australia, and they both sent me some of this beer so I could have a little bit of home. And I even got a glass, so I have the proper glassware for my beer.
That's very awesome.
I know, and it's a lovely Pilsner. I actually really like this.
Oh, that's great. Well, many happy returns.
Thank you.
And that is a gorgeous beer. And now you'll have to keep the can, I guess, for the art and for the lighthouse on the label.
I think I'm gonna. Yeah, I think if I soak it, maybe it'll come off, and I can.
No, they just peel off.
Oh, they just peel off.
You just have to be gentle. You just have to go kind of.
They
slowly.
do.
They absolutely do. I am also. We should say this is Western Herd.
Oh yeah, sorry. This is Western Herd. In Kilmaley is where their breweries, and they have a brew pub in Ennis, which is currently closed.
So almost to Galway Bay.
Yeah, much closer than Galveston.
Yeah, a little
yes,
bit,
much
closer than Texas.
And I do actually love. They have amazing artwork on their. Like they have one coming out, Flora and Fauna, and the design is amazing.
Mm.
So
yeah, I'm a huge fan. A lot of those Western Herd cans are just very simple, and they've often got like an outline of the coast in one color on a white background, and then they'll list the hops, which is very nice. And then I think they've water from their farm.
Yeah,
and,
it says water from our farm. So this one has hops, sass, and pearl. And then the malt is Pilsner malt, and it's lager yeast. I do like a little bit of information.
Yeah,
know,
like
right?
on the back of this can, it like gives you information, and then it gives you like a little graph of like what the color and the flavor and what's the other one? And the balance is supposed to be on the beer.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Fair dues, actually, Carolyn. You keep picking out very thoughtful beers that have
I kind of like
quite a
that.
story to the brewery and
I
the
don't pick it
item.
because it has that, but like it just says like, yeah, I just
Yeah.
like that it gives a little bit of information on the can about the beer. Like, I don't know. Breweries, we like this.
Yeah,
We
we
like
do.
information on cans.
I'm unapologetically having a white hag Brandon Scullin because I love this recipe. I just love this recipe. I don't care who knows it. And it's, it's just a
There
nice
you go in your
color
white
and
hag
it's,
glass.
yeah, sure.
Yeah, we are doing so well for the glassware matching
We are doing
our
so well for the
our beer.
glassware.
I
Oh,
have another brewery.
cheers.
So I'm gonna cover it up.
I don't know which one it is. So you're
Well,
it's a
that's
Guinness.
true.
Is it?
No,
No.
it's
We hold them in cheers for anybody watching on YouTube, which you can totally come and do and see our faces. We're all happily drinking beers over here, but
Yeah.
you can also be wandering around in a park, which is totally cool.
Yeah, I was listening to the Prohibition one while I was out power washing. I know, sorry, that's a very evil practice. It's not very good for the environment, but
I'm
I was
gonna get you when I get to water ingredient.
while I was power washing away, listening to Prohibitions. Really, it's great to just while away to
As you
listen to.
do.
Yeah,
We're for company.
definitely.
So, not that I want to be wanting all of the things, but Katie, what did you find out about pairing beer and other flavors?
I found there's lots of interesting stuff out
So we
there.
can salivate as we power wash.
And I just think that women are superior to men
Well,
when
I
it
mean,
comes
we
to
are.
tasting. Yeah. Well,
is there research behind this?
there is a study by Yale University have identified that women have physically more taste buds on their tongue than men.
Goodness.
There you go. And 35% of women are super tasters, right? Whereas only 15% of men are super tasters.
Is that why life is so bitter?
What?
I couldn't help myself.
Yeah.
Lol.
And there's also other research, and the other research goes back to like the 60s, that women perceive like sweet and bitter taste differently as they go through their menstrual cycle. So when you're estrogen high, which is before you menstruate, you taste sweet better, so it tastes nicer. And then once you're progesterone high, which is after you menstruate, you enjoy bitter tastes, or you perceive bitter tastes more.
You need to like remineralize or something after you've got rid of all that iron in your blood, or
yeah. So the craving of, I suppose, the sweet carbs and stuff is because it tastes nicer at certain times of the month. Isn't that crazy?
Things certainly feel different at different times of the month. I am not gonna dicker about that one
at all. Yeah, I found that and the fact that they had done this research back in the 60s. They took samples from a group of women over the space of 9 weeks, and they collected saliva and blood, and they monitored it, so they were able to. Yeah,
so it was a very like intense research. It wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't like airy fairy. So not that there's anything wrong with social sciences and stuff like that.
But it was an actual wrong
sweet things.
Scientific.
But like they actually like took blood, saliva, so that's very interesting that they did that.
I found it really interesting.
There's another study that I was looking at this paper, and they very intelligently, I thought, tested about champagne and oysters. And I thought, that's a very intelligent paper. I need to seek some funding so that I can do that research too. I think we need to delve into this.
Yeah, what did they say about champagne and oysters?
Before
you want to know.
If you want to do your research, maybe not this year, but next year, May Bank Holiday weekend, in Loophead, every year there is a champagne and oyster festival.
Oh,
sounds great. That's where you can do your study next. Go back.
I think, yeah, we need funding. We need to get to the bottom of this, like,
Yeah.
very quickly. They decided that one of the reasons that you got more umami, maybe in an older champagne, was it had sat on the yeast on the lees a bit longer and maybe absorbed more things. So the takeaway was we need a better champagne, and this tickled my fancy a great deal, because there were pie charts with umami about kind of 5 minutes of the clock face. Like if you're out walking or you're pressure washing, you just kind of imagine a clock face, and about 5 minutes of an oyster or a glass of good champagne was like umami flavor, or sense, feeling. And then about 10 to 15 minutes of the clock of the pie chart was like bitter. And then there is sort of, I don't know, 3/4 of an hour, or indeed a pie chart, left to sweet, which you don't always think of like oysters as sweet. They're kind of like minerally and stuff, but of the available amino acids that you could taste and sense, a lot of that was sweet. So
I would
that
never have
tickled my
associated
fancy, 'cause
oysters with sweetness.
some are sweeter.
I would have never thought that like after 20 minutes it would become sweet, like the taste in your mouth would be sweet.
Oh, I mean, I was just trying to describe a pie chart in terms of like,
yeah.
It's in the
Okay.
degrees, the amount of the pie.
Oh.
Yeah, I was trying to find a way of describing a
God.
pie chart to a person who was out on a walk, who was listening, and can't see me
I
sort
feel
of
so
holding up my, and
Oh
it's
my
this
God.
much of the pie chart. and
Got
then
it.
it's this
Okay, yep,
much.
I got it now.
It's like 15 minutes is like a quarter, and
Jesus.
Oh,
Anyway, so that's
I
my-
have a story about
Sorry, that one went like right over my head.
well,
about
that's only because I'm unintelligible. Go on, Katie.
I have a story at this Champagne and Oyster Festival in Carrigaholt in County Clare. Many years ago, my son was christened on the Maybank holiday weekend, and the night before, myself and my husband and my sister and his brother all went to the festival. They were the godparents, and my sister doesn't like seafood. Yeah,
I'm also,
I don't like
I
seafood
can
either.
understand sometimes there's too much, what my friend calls scuttle. Too much scuttle.
I don't like seafood. I
But
don't
we
like the texture.
We convinced
go
her
ahead.
to try an oyster because I
Mm.
quite like oysters, and so there were platters just left on the tables in the pub we were in,
Mhm.
and so she tried one, and she did not like the taste or the flavor, so she spat it back out onto the oyster shell,
Mhm.
and went to the bathroom
Mhm.
to wash her mouth out with soap and water or whatever you do, and when she came back, she was going to put it in the bin, and the oyster had been eaten by somebody else.
Well, waste not, want
So-
not.
So
Just
be
as-
careful where your oyster has been, okay?
Oh.
Isn't that, we were like, oh my good God.
Oh.
But anyway, she has no diseases or cooties or anything, but
I'm sure you could do
She doesn't
no
have
better
COVID.
if you were
This is
going
before
for a
COVID, guys.
second-hand oyster.
This was way before COVID.
yeah.
Oh. Yeah, mind your drinks, ladies, and second-hand oysters.
That's always
Just
good.
squish some lemon on that, and you're fine.
And oysters.
So if we're not into oysters, there's always
Pizza!
cheese.
Cheese, yeah.
And cheese. Pizza and cheese. I mean, I feel like,
And bacon.
but yeah, there's always cheese.
What are your favorite things to have with a beer, or what are your favorite beers to have with the things? Favorite?
anything?
Yeah. Cheese.
I love pizza and beer, and I find it hard to have a pizza without
Yeah.
having a beer.
Yeah.
I can have a beer without a pizza, fine. But if I'm having a pizza, I really like having a beer with it.
Mm.
And the
So,
beers I would drink would probably be like a Pils or an IPA, I think.
Mm. Something
so I
kind of-
found this chart, craft beer and pizza guide. And they're saying with just like a classic cheese, you should drink an American amber lager or a Belgian style Pilsner. And then with like heavy meat lovers, you should drink an American pale ale or an American brown ale.
Those all
So-
sound delicious, and I want them all.
And I found a study based in Mexico where they had 3 different levels of pizza spiciness,
Mhm.
Oh.
and they compared it with lager, ale, and stout.
And
And
what they pair.
what did they pair? So they found this was based on people's preferences rather than being very scientific. And they found that not as many people enjoyed the stout with the pizza, but stout, the people who did like the stout, more people enjoyed it with the very spicy pizza. So that
Mm.
was the biggest difference across the spicinesses, was the stout.
I wonder why.
That's pretty cool. Well, I love a stout, but yeah, I would probably look for something a little more like
Heavy.
that would slice through the oiliness of the kind of pepperoni and cheese and like whatever was on the pizza. Because I want a little bit of like crisp to cut through, or at least that would be my thinking. Although, of course, you're dead right. It's all kind of the flavors that we love are the flavors that we learn. Like they're enculturated and they're based on like our time and place and when we were growing up and adjusting to flavors and like, yeah, it's what we love. Don't try and like pair something with oysters. If you hate oysters, then you're gonna hate the whole
Right.
thing. I
Exactly.
don't know why I'm hating on oysters, but
Because we were just talking about them.
I'm learning to love them. And like olives, starting to love them.
I haven't
would-
learned how to love an olive yet. I want to, but I can't do it.
olive them. I
I don't like
think
olives either.
I like do you like them on pizza?
No.
No. Sardines?
Yeah, I like sardines. I can handle anchovies on pizza.
Yeah, I think, and also like so there's such a thing as like too salty or too bitter, or just things that are out of balance for your palate preferences that you've learned in your place and time
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Like,
I think in
Yeah.
my palate does not like sour flavors. Like I don't like fizzy cola bottles, and I
Mm.
don't like sour beers.
mm.
I love
Yeah,
sour
I
beers.
like them. And sometimes maybe there's like a before your period where you're like, oh, give me all the fizzy cola, and then after you're like, I cannot actually, I can't look at a fizzy cola bottle. I couldn't. So yeah,
I found this interesting thing. It's called beer and barbecue. And it says with like a pulled pork, you should drink a porter or stout because it like the roastiness of the dark porter and stout complement the pulled pork. For a beef a beef brisket, you should drink an amber ale because it's like more caramely and like it's bold enough for the fatty beef and the burnt ends of the brisket. And then for chicken and turkey, you should do like a hazy, cloudy, hoppy IPA beer because like the tropical juicy sweetness total complements the birds. So that's interesting that like people are pairing having certain beers that they like with barbecue because that's big in
Oh.
Texas.
I so much want barbecue. I love stout, and I would totally have a stout with
It makes
like-
sense though
like a kind
why
of
you
more
would
dry,
choose a
minerally
stout with a pulled pork or like pork in general, I guess.
one. I had a wonderful red ale with a curry, and like it was fantastic. I don't know what the deal was, but yeah. Oh, that was beautiful. And I love like a poutine or a real like cheesy plate of chips with like a super hoppy IPA. I just think life can't get too much better.
Oh yeah, that
Like,
sounds good.
and I don't really, I probably would be like hazy IPA with like a really good, great big dirty poutine, you know, but
I've never had a
I don't mind.
poutine.
I don't mind if it's hazy or not, like cheese curds, whatever, curry chips or gravy or whatever's going on there. All the cheese, basically.
All
This
the
is that's
cheese.
all that's going on in my imagination. It's just like
I found
crazy.
another paper. It was Italian food and beer pairing, and they found that foods that don't pair well are things like vegetable soup, seafood salad, and spaghetti.
Really, spaghetti?
Yeah, it was spaghetti and tomato sauce.
Oh,
Yeah.
I guess that goes better with what, like a wine?
Yeah,
Possibly.
red wine would be nice with that.
Yeah, and the best ones were pizza, barbecue,
Mm.
naturally
That
enough.
makes sense though. And burgers, obviously,
Yeah.
because like
Mm.
I guess the more heartier stuff, I don't know.
Mm.
But I think that like a nice coffee stout goes well with like maybe a chocolate cake or a dessert or
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like
because
with
there's
the
that
dessert,
complimentary thing going on. Sorry.
yeah, I feel like with the dessert, you want something like that'll complement it well.
Yeah. Like a coffee or like some coffee or chocolate or all that sweet stuff, just like death by chocolate. Just
Yeah.
embrace it all. As opposed to that like kind of opposites of the color wheel way of
Yeah.
tasting.
What stout? Didn't we have like the s'more stout and we were talking about like how that would be good with like a good like chocolate cake or something? I think I remember us talking about that on a previous episode. We were like, we were trying the stout and we were like, this would be good like with a good dessert. I don't know. I just remember Wicklow Wolf. That's what it was. The s'mores.
Yeah, another time the ladies were making each other just hungry on a podcast. It was beautiful.
Oh, we should have a warning. Please order pizza and beer before you.
We really should.
Well,
Yeah, whatever about the swears. We need to tell people
like
get yourself a pizza before this.
Like drinking and food just go together. Like just in general, like it's a social activity. Let's go have a drink and eat dinner. Like so it's kind of like I don't want to say it's a cultural thing because it's worldwide. Everybody goes and eats food and drinks beer, and that's how we find ways to socialize. I think is we're like, hey, you gotta go get food and have a drink.
Yeah, and it
are
doesn't
like,
matter where in the world you are. You can always find that
it's a worldwide thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I always enjoy is like going somewhere, trying food, trying different beers that I might not have with the food. I don't know. It's an experience.
That's what I miss. I just can't wait till everyone is vaccinated or they found cures for COVID, so that we can all travel and taste the lovely foods all over the world and the lovely beers.
Well, and we can also like I've lived in Canada, I've lived in Ireland, and a lot of times I've actually found that because it's easy for me to go somewhere, I really don't value it. So I don't really care that I could just go down the road to Wicklow Wolf or, wherever it might be and just enjoy my own little local terroir. But like, as I get older, I'm like, this is really cool. This is right here. It's on my doorstep. I can just go like an hour or less or, a couple hours and I can have like all of this stuff. And if people are willing to drive and stick stuff on a lorry, it can come to me. And then I can dream of places and one day, I might meet someone from there.
Yeah. And I think that sticking stuff in a can and putting it on a lorry is not the same as having it from it on draft.
Yes. I will agree to that.
Because we got takeaway pints for my birthday during the week, and unfortunately there's no real craft place within my 5k. So I went for generic European brewery beer. You can figure it out. But it tasted, just because it was from tap, it tasted so much. It tasted so good,
Was it a Guinness?
It's gonna be so sweet.
It was a lager.
Okay.
It was a lager. It was lovely.
You know what? I'm not sure what would you guys put with a lager? I do.
I can
love
give you
that.
the answer.
Oh, go for it.
A pale lager, medium high carbonation, malt taste, light body, dry finish, should be paired with chicken, salads, salmon, and fried food. Like now that I hear, like I would have never thought to put fried food with a light lager, but that makes sense because it's
Yeah.
like heavy and like fried, and most of the time it's light batter. So I guess the light batter.
I would
goes
never have
with.
thought to put beer with a salad.
On a hot day, that might be both very
Yeah.
nice outside.
I think it could
Blonde,
depend on the dressing on the salad as well.
yeah,
Mhm.
a blonde ale, grilled seafood, Cobb salad, lighter mac and cheese, and fried chicken.
Lighter mac and cheese.
I've never had
That's
mac
so-
and cheese, and I've
What?
never had poutine.
You haven't had
Well-
proper mac and cheese. When you come to America, let me know.
Well, I lived
We'll
in it.
meet
I
up.
lived in the States before,
Oh,
but we
okay.
just never had it. I don't know.
It's so good.
There was a time that craft dinner came in my suitcase. I know I said this before, and now I'm totally over it because I can make a way better baked mac and cheese with like all the
Well,
crusty
I did
breakthrough
do that.
goodness. Oh,
When I lived in Ireland and I went home for Thanksgiving, I did buy some craft because it was just like a little comfort food of home. And
it
I
is
made
something
it.
you do for your first
And the
while.
whatever serving is on the box is not accurate. You eat the whole box, that's your serving. Like that's
Yeah.
kind of how Kraft macaroni and cheese goes. It's like the
Yes,
box
it
says
is.
3 servings. It's all
Yeah,
me.
no.
It's really 1 serving.
Unless there are 2 of you, in which case
Yeah.
get 2 boxes.
Exactly. one box per person.
Yeah, or like a grilled cheese
yeah.
and half a box or something.
But they're saying with the stout, you should do beef, barbecue ribs, like a bacon blue burger, and like onion rings. So like the heavier, I guess it's the same with wine. Like the heavier meats, you want a darker beer. The lighter meats, you want to go with a lighter beer. So it's kind of following the same rule of if it's chicken, light beer. If it's beef, amber ale, Irish red ale.
Those all sound like delicious
brown
beers.
ales go that way. So that sounds like that's the general rule, which makes sense.
And like in everything, don't like drink what you love.
Oh yeah,
and
drink what
eat
you
you
love, but
and-
like just
yeah.
as like a general rule. Like
yeah, but if you're looking to explore,
well, yeah,
then you can try and use like the color wheel of
a beer.
Is there a color wheel of flavor, like
I mean,
There has to be
a flavor wheel?
Samin
equivalent.
Nosrat really tried to make one out of all of the regional kind of, like tomato garlic, or tomato garlic oregano, like the these flavors, those flavors, and try and allow you to it does kind of make like a wheel or a pie chart.
But I guess like a flavor wheel, because every country, every region, every state within a country is so different.
Yeah.
Like with what flavors they use, I feel like.
But it's like things like salt and vinegar kind of go well together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, would they be beside each other? Would they be opposite each other?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, usually you can pick a veg herb array and like pick a fats array and pick like a vinegar and an acetic or other kind of acidy thing, or a citric acidy thing, right? So you've got your I'm just totally leaning on Samin Nosrat's salt, fat, acid, heat. Like pick a salt,
yeah,
it's a sea salt or a kosher salt or a whatever, pick an acid, pick a fat or several, like put the butter and the olive oil into the
rebel
spag
bean.
ball. Oh no, this is wonderful. I tell you, you haven't lived. The butter and the olive oil in the spag ball. This is where it's at. And the umami flavor, like if you want to throw a little bit into like a soup, like a vegetable soup of like seaweed for umami, or just a little tiny spoon of Marmite. I'm not into Marmite yet. I'm still on my journey. I can't quite because it's just, but you know, for a bit of umami or a bit of what's the fermented soybean thing?
Kimchi?
Edamames? No.
After that, once they've been in a vat for a long time. Oh,
I have no idea.
Sadness. Oh dear.
Google it real quick.
You make it into a soup, and it's miso.
Oh,
You throw a spoonful of a miso in there. I can, poor listeners, I'm sorry. You're out for a jog being like, miso, bean, come on, you can do this. Lols.
It's like when you're yelling at Wheel of Fortune. It's this.
It has to be in the form of a question.
This is the answer.
Yeah.
Oh, many lols. We get there in the end. So have we things to say before the end?
I found on Twitter, I follow at Pints and Panels, which is a female illustrator who illustrates beers, and she has lots of flavor interactions. And they're really, really, really nice illustrations. She's made. I have no idea who she is. I am not affiliated with this person in any way, shape, or form. I just thought they were really nice illustrations. So she has like malt flavors, like go well with a cheese sandwich. You know, and the illustrations are really, really nice. So if anyone wants to look that person up on Twitter.
Well, like what'd she say about like beer and like what beer goes good with a cheese sandwich or?
Well, a cheese sandwich. So she's saying complementary toasted and caramelized flavors go well together in a variety of food.
Okay. So like a Smittix or that kind of malty.
Yeah. And then you were talking about a curry and a red ale. So she says some beer traits help refresh the palate by lifting, cleansing, or removing richer fatty flavors. Common cutting beer traits include carbonation, sourness, bitterness. And she would pair a spicy curry with a sweet beer such as a Doppelbock.
Okay, yeah, I would do that. That's no problem for me.
I actually think. Oh, and then savory dishes use bitter beer styles to cut down on umami, pilsner, and miso ramen would be so pilsner and miso ramen.
Yeah, I guess that kind of like makes sense.
Eat all these things.
You can eat and drink all these things.
Oh, I really would.
And they're saying for a steak, a Belgian triple.
Oh.
Which is not very because you were saying that the redder, like the heavier the food,
right?
The darker the beer, but a triple can be quite
that's what
light in color, I suppose.
But they're telling me, but I guess but it's a triple, so like it's a little bit more.
So there's a large variety of what's this one? A salad with an American blonde ale.
Yeah, but I wouldn't eat a salad. I'm curious, like, who would eat a salad
with a citrus salad dressing?
Okay, but I don't know. I don't know. If I'm eating a salad, I'd probably like get a glass of wine or something like light. I don't know if I'd grab a beer.
Oh well, here I have a beer with everything, so you know. Beer with a bowl of Frosties. You can't go wrong, right?
There you go.
What would you pair with a bowl of Frosties? Just
Ooh, in reality, I was just throwing that out there. I don't actually have beer for breakfast. My children are safe in my hands.
If you really wanted to, what would you pair?
Beer with muesli.
With Frosties. See, I would have Frosties with milk. And I would probably have it with low-fat milk, which would be 2% in the US. Right? Or 1.5? What do you call it? 4% is whole, right?
I don't know. I can't touch that stuff anymore.
Skim milk is like it has no fat at all in it.
It's terrible. Skim is the worst.
It's like water.
It's water. It's white water.
2% has like some fat in it.
That's about as fatty as milk gets.
So,
right? And there exists one.
Well, it goes skim 2% and then it whole.
Oh, really? We've got 1%. I swear.
I'm sure there's 1%, but I don't buy it, so I don't pay attention to it.
So I grew up on a farm where we would have unpasteurized milk all the time. And I used to hate it if we ran out of milk in the morning, because then we would have to get it from, if my parents were at milk, a very small farm. I'm talking like 15 to 20 cows. We're not talking like Dallas, with a ranch, Texas ranchers. We used to hate that because it would be still warm from the cow. Oh my God, there's nothing more disgusting. So my milk has to be cold, and I don't like it really whole because I just think you can still taste like the grass and the cow and stuff on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, 2% milk. So what would go well with 2%? With like milk, frosted flakes,
like maybe like a light.
What, a Hefeweizen?
Maybe.
Or a whip?
Maybe.
And here I was
somebody try this and let us
Imperial
know
Stout at the start of the day.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe like
well, what if you were having it as like a midnight snack?
Oh,
as like there are so many students
if I'm
out
drinking
there.
as a midnight snack, or if I'm eating as a midnight snack, I'm already wasted. So by that point, it doesn't matter. Whatever's available, whatever's within reach. I'm kidding. I don't know.
Well, what do you pair with you? What beer would you pair with your breakfast cereal? I think this is a question that
like a lighter beer.
I think
like
every person needs to answer this for themselves.
Or like a Pilsner, like something light.
And would it be different if it was like a hot Weetabix?
Oh yeah, of course it would. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that would.
The savory Weetabix.
Weetabix for people that aren't in Ireland is like it's like a Wheaties, I would say.
I don't know what Wheaties are, so I'm gonna trust your judgment.
Yeah,
they look like little hay bales.
Yeah,
in your cereal
I would say
bowl.
similar to Wheaties. That's what I would. I don't know, Bean.
Yeah.
What do you think? I feel like that's the closest. I feel like Canada probably had some form of Wheaties.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, there was Wheaties and Weetabix and probably generic things also.
Yeah.
And also I don't really think that is it's a real question anyway that we're really answering. Like
oh no.
It's a hypothetical question.
It's a hypothetical.
Although, yeah, nothing like a refreshing beer to start the day. As long as you're not going to be operating the combine harvester.
It's 9:00 here. I had oatmeal and now I'm drinking a wheat beer. So there you go.
And so it was the perfect pairing.
Exactly.
For the perfect day.
The thing is, do you make your oatmeal with milk or water?
Milk. Oh.
Okay, yeah.
It with water.
You're in my camp. Some people make it with water.
Well,
that's gross.
Because sometimes I don't have milk.
I don't care. I'll
sometimes
go buy
I don't
milk.
have beer, so I have to use water.
I hate hot chocolate with water. I have to make my hot chocolate with milk. And then put a little Baileys or something in there.
Oh, yes.
Do you know, oat milk is good with oatmeal if you run out of milk, but you still have like a carton of oat
but
milk.
You need some sort of like milk, whether it be almond milk. I've had almond milk with oatmeal. That's not. You need something thicker than water, in my opinion.
It is delicious and creamy when you find a bit of extra creaminess for your oatmeal, but it is possible to make oats with just
I know it is.
And salt. And you can throw an egg in there and some salt and pepper and make it all ready to pair with the delicious beer. And then you're set for the day.
Katie's like,
this is terrible.
My face is like, oh my God. Salt and pepper and an egg in your oatmeal. It's like, okay, you're never coming to my house. not for breakfast anyway.
I know. Maybe someday I'll be allowed in the garden, but I won't be allowed to come in with my bad beer pairings. But
yes. Well, I've plans for my garden. So now that I have my Wi-Fi extender and I can watch TV out the back.
So, folks, is there anything else that we burning beer pairings that we need to try and distract people with?
No,
they may have found what they like already, but they want to branch out. All right. Well,
I think we're good.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm hungry. I'm ready for some
Yep.
whatever
Food.
time of the day meal this might be. And thank you for your time, and thank you for your attention. Thanks for joining us. Everybody, we can be found on Twitter at Beer Ladies Pod, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Beer Ladies Podcast. Come on over, say hi. Got the website. We'll be here, and we'll come back next week. And till then, cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
See ya.